Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode 207. Today is December 30th. My name, Craig Perales, and joining me, the man who brought the whiskey cokes for our final episode of the year, Manager Monthman.
Need something to wake me up.
Yeah, I know you can't really see through these cups, but yeah, I always like at the end of the year we do a nice little cocktail, and we got some Jack and Coke in us, and that's always fun. We're at the end of the year, so just to keep in mind so you guys know what's happening, we'll have we're recording before the year's over, and maybe I can try to get the episode out for tomorrow, and then next week we'll have our Andrew and I just recorded another episode, which was the tops, which will be our top 5 games of 2024 of all 2024 of the whole 2024. And then after that, we'll get back into a newly fresh episode. So we just got one in the can for next week. And then I think I'm going to put that on the audio podcast as well. That way anyone that's listening to the audio-only version doesn't not get an episode. They can still listen to the 24.
No, you come to the YouTube and you subscribe.
And you leave all your thoughts and comments down below. So just making an easy episode, Andrew and I were just going to answer some questions that I had pre-prepared. But before we dive into that, we are going to do our final What Are You Up To of the year. So that's when Andrew and I take a second to talk about what we've been playing and what we have been watching. So my man, what have you been up to before 2024 ends its sleepy head?
I don't know if I talked about... Did I talk about the Prominence Poker before? I think I'd mentioned to you, but I forgot to bring it up on the show.
But I don't think you dove into it as much as maybe this time.
But we downloaded it on Game Pass for any of you guys that like poker. Like, it's just like a silly little like online poker game.
I want to get in some of these tables because I downloaded it too, and I'm like, I want to get in some of this.
You can play with friends, and then people can randomly join your table. You can join the table with randoms, and there's like tournaments and stuff you can do. And that's it. You're just playing poker, but just when you're playing, like, cause usually when I'm playing, I'll have like 2 of my cousins online. I was playing with Dante last night till like 5 in the morning. And me and him were like rounding some dude playing against him and not playing against each other, so we were cheating. But like normally we'll just have a table usually full of people we know, and then maybe like 2 randoms will hop in, and we're all just playing each other, and it's just fun. Like, it's just so much fun because we're just sitting there talking shit, like trying to lie to each other, or someone will be like, "Oh, well, I'm going in," and I'll be like, "I'll have like a 2-9." I'm like, "Well, fuck you, I'm going all in too, and we'll see what happens." And it's just so many crazy hands. Like, it's just been really fun. Like, for such a dumb like little game. So if you have a lot of people like you could play with, or like just at least a few others, like, it is just dumb fun just to be sitting there chatting. Like, it's usually like my end of the night game when I don't feel like playing anything else.
Maybe we can try to get one going today because I tried playing it, and I did the tutorial and I didn't get too far. I went to play a game and maybe it glitched. I was stuck in a room that wasn't loading me into the hand. And is it worth logging in every day? Do you get money every day? Okay, so that's what I need to be doing too.
And then the bonus goes up the more that you log in.
Okay, so I need to at least start doing that. But yeah,
and it is a... Sorry, I didn't mean to get
no, you're good.
I was saying it is an end of the day login, so I think the timer resets, I think, at like 7 p.m. or something like that.
Gotcha.
For us, anyways.
Gotcha.
And then as far as anything else, I'd finished Indiana Jones, powered through it, really liked it. You'll hear about that in our top 5. But I started Death Stranding. Now, I think before you said you had played this. Did you play a little bit of it?
I started it on the PS5 because I don't know which one's on the Game Pass. I started the director's cut. I got to the cave, talked to the girl, and that's about as far as I went. The very beginning of it. I didn't really get too much further.
Oh, okay. This game, of course, a Hideo Kojima game, as it likes to remind you at every twist and turn, is so good. I thought, like, I know people were shitting on it and seeing it, like, just the UPS delivery stuff. That stuff, I'm like, I guess it's kind of like alright. It's not bad. Like, the movement and the train and stuff, it's like, it's cool and it's simulated, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to be sitting here juggling my shit all over the place and tumbling down a hill. But once you get like the ghost kind of people involved, the BTs involved, and even some of the characters you make, like, the story is so crazy out there. I think you might have seen it for a little bit, for those of you that don't know, like, off the bat, because it tells you too. Because at first I just thought, like, okay, like, it's just the BTs. But no, there's like so much more going on, because there's people that are like half dead, half alive is what they call them, because they call it like the other side. And then there's a natural, it's not natural, but there's an occurrence that happens, and I don't know what's killing all this other stuff, but there's rain that comes in. It's called the time fall. And what it does is, at first I didn't realize what it was doing until the chick explained it. Like, he puts his hand out and a drop hits his hand, and they see it kind of like wrinkle like a little bit, and I thought it was like an acid burn or something.
That's what I remember. Okay, yeah.
But what it is, because then the chick shows you, because she looks super young, but she says she fell into like a puddle of it in an accident, is that when that water hits you, it ages your body. And so like a little bit later on, you're trying to help these dudes. One of them gets pinned under a car.
That's why he's covering the baby.
Yeah. One of them gets pinned under a car, and then as it starts like raining, like you see him go from a dude who's like in his 20s, maybe 30s, to like an old like balding man, and they're like trying to like lift him out of the thing, and of course like not get the water on him. I'm like, dude, that's such a crazy like cool like just a lot of the shit he does with this game is just so over the top, like that Metal Gear creative visionary style that, yeah, maybe the gameplay might be, I gotta play it more, might be like some like 10 hours in, isn't my favorite thing to go with this, but just the idea and the visions and the storytelling and the way it films it, it's almost like a movie when you're watching it. And again, if you're not into cutscenes, this is like Metal Gear, where sometimes you're watching stuff for like 10 minutes at a time. It's so good, and it even has that Metal Gear feel with some of the people you talk to. Like, you didn't make it to the first base. After you go out of the cave, you make it to this base. That's where you meet the Guillermo del Toro guy.
Yeah.
He calls himself Dead Man.
Cool.
And because he's
awesome.
because he's like a coroner or something like that. And then there's this other dude who wears this weird skeleton like face mask thing that does move. It doesn't move with his mouth, or maybe it's just because there's no lips. But when he's talking, you'll see it like go like that, like open and close. And his name is Die Hardman. And I'm like, dude, that is such a fucking cool name. Like, it's just, either way, I'm absolutely loving this so far. Like, it's just crazy insane with the story. It's totally got me drawn in. That's my next game that I'm trying to crush right now.
You're gonna be going into January then playing that, right? Because it's a pretty big game.
Yeah, I kind of want to streamline the story. I don't think I'm gonna do like all the crazy stuff. I was looking online. I'm like, oh well, how long can some people? Oh, but I played this game for like 800 hours. I'm like, fuck no, I don't want anything to do with that. Anything more than like 50, and I'm out on this. But awesome. Either way, loving it so far, and it's even so. I was like, fuck, if I not that I don't wish I had to record, but I'm like, man, I wish I could just stay home because I really want to put some time into this.
Yeah, you'll get your chance tonight, and then hit me up when you guys play Prominence Poker.
What do you got going on?
As far as what I've been watching, nothing really too crazy new. Sam hasn't never seen Scrubs before, and
she's not missing out.
Oh, fuck that, dude. Scrubs is fantastic. So we started re-watching it, and if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a new group of medical students arrives to learn the ropes at Sacred Heart Hospital, where JD, Turk, Kelso, and a Seabrook, Dr. Cox are their instructors. JD continues to romance Elliot as he imparts wisdom to a new class, which includes, and that's when they finally get past season 9, which is all the new kind of kids. Because for me, if you guys are familiar with Scrubs, it ends when JD walks down the hallway. Like, to me, that is the final finale of Scrubs. But
don't they have the show without him?
Yeah. It kept going, and it kept going for a bit, and they turned it into a school of teaching, and JD kind of did eventually fall out of it. But apparently now they're going to be I don't know if they're rebooting it or remaking it, but he's still supposed to be attached to do it. And Scrubs for me, because again, he gets lost in his head. He's constantly fantasizing. It's more of the joke, because I was asking her, because when it gets to the drama, it hits pretty hard. It's got some cries.
I've seen some of it.
And I was asking her, I'm like, so far, what do you like better? Do you like the laughs more, or do you like the drama stuff, like when Cox flips out, or do you like all the funny zaniness? Because I think they go in tandem with each other, but like, I don't know where I land on which one I like better.
I haven't watched it, so I was joking earlier about saying that it's not missing out. Like, I just don't want to commit to something that big, but I have seen the episode with like the second one where you find out the stuff about like Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, which is one of the hands down one of the best arcs in any show.
Yeah, really, really good episode.
Yeah, so and again, it's one of these old school shows that were, again, it ends on season 9 for me, but they're all 22, 24 episodes. So yeah, if you want to start watching it, it is a big run. But she's never seen it, and so far she's loving it. But I would, because I'll either fall asleep to like that. I've been doing a lot of Rugrats, but like she likes to fall asleep with Friends. So like I've been watching a lot more Friends. Friends for me isn't. Seinfeld is the end all be all, the top. Big Bang's another one, but I definitely think I would put Scrubs in like a top 5, if not at least a top 10 list.
Christina's was a Friends person. She still kind of does sometimes, but normally since we watch Big Bang, she'll put Big Bang on.
Yeah, Big Bang's.
Now I don't know if that's more for her or for me, but I love Big Bang.
As far as what I've been... So yeah, keep an eye out because they are doing something in terms of rebooting it or remaking it, but that's coming. So as far as what I've been playing, I started RoboCop Rogue City, which is a 2023 first-person shooter game developed by Teon and published by Nakken. The game features an original storyline based on the RoboCop films with Peter Weller, which I thought was cool, reprising his role as the titular character. Now, it takes place... The player... Let's see. First-person shooter in old Detroit. Playing as RoboCop, the player must clear the city of criminals, conduct investigations, and can also give out parking tickets. The game is set in between the films RoboCop 2 and 3. And Andrew and I were kind of talking about that because I haven't seen the movies in a long, long time. And I don't even know if I've even seen number 3, so it makes me want to go back and play it. But I bought it on PlayStation during... it was the sale, the big sale they did before the Christmas sale. Because I went to look to see if it was on Xbox because I'd prefer to play it there. But it was still on sale for $60 or $70, or it wasn't on sale. And when I bought it, RoboCop on PlayStation, it was only on $20. And I told Denny to pick it up too, and I believe he did. But he got it on Xbox. I don't think this game... I'm almost done. I have 2 more missions I have to do. I don't think it's a $70 game, but buying it for $20 was perfect because this game is pretty rated R. Like, you're doing constant headshots. One of the achievements is shooting somebody in the dick. Like, you get an achievement for, like, touching my no-no spot or something. It's a lot of gore. There's parts where I'm shooting people, and if you hit them in the arm, like, arms will, like, dislocate and get separated.
Oh, nice.
The stories is a RoboCop story. I mean, you got to try to find out who's the like. There's this villain that comes into town, and there's all these different gangs that are trying to like team up with them. So I mean, it's whatever, but it's a lot of fun. And you go through like you'll go to these different points. You'll go to the city, and like you actually be traveling around and looking for like stolen merchandise. Like it says, you can actually give out people parking tickets, and there's sway you can build up with the townspeople. Like, are you like upholding law? Are you upholding the people? And what was kind of cool when you dive more into it is it's got like 10 different skills you can use to get. So when the more you do in each mission, there's a bunch of side stuff to do. So at the end, when you go back to the precinct and you get like analyzed, you'll get a ranking, like an ABC ranking on how much you did. So the more you do, the more experience you'll get. And then with that, you can level up things like your combat, your armor, your deductive skills, your vitality and your health and things like that. So it's actually a lot deeper than it looks like when you watch like the trailer. It's not just running around shooting. You actually get to do things that can spice up the dialogue, things that can, like in the beginning, you'll have like 3 healing things that you can use. When you level up vitality, you can start getting like 4 and 5, but you can eventually like walk up to like circuit breakers and charge yourself in, and that'll give you health. So there's a bunch of different little cool things that you can do. Like one of mine was I leveled up was engineering, and there was a mission where you have to detach a bomb, but because my engineering was so high, RoboCop I could do it on my own without needing somebody's help. So like it really will change the game depending on what you're actually.
I like that.
Building
That's
up.
cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So again, I don't know if I'd be buying it at 60, 70, but the moment it's on Game Pass, the moment you see it for $20, it's worth getting. I think if it does pop up on Xbox for $20, I wouldn't mind playing it again and snagging it. So that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been playing. That's what I've been watching. Guys, leave down below in the comments what you've been up to and what you've been watching. So with that down and out of the way, guys, like I said, we're not going to do any big stories. Excuse me. We're just going to do a couple of questions, just kind of kick back and enjoy the rest of the app. So the first, and these I didn't pull any, guys, so I just kind of wrote these out just so I could ask Andrew and we can talk about it. If you guys do want to leave questions for us that we can answer during the show, you can do so a couple of different ways. You can email us at lastcallproductions@gmail.com. You can find me on social media at Craig Perales, or you can leave it down in the comments. So Geno was supposed to be on this episode, but I know the plan was we were supposed to record yesterday, got pushed back to today, and I know he got a little bit busy, but he did promise to be on the first episode of the next year. So with that being said, Andrew and I will answer these questions. The first one to ask was simply, what was your favorite movie of 2024 and why? And then was it a movie that was straight to streaming, or is it something you got to enjoy in theaters?
Mine was Alien Romulus,
which was awesome.
It was so good. It is on Hulu now that you can watch it. I've actually already watched it like 3 times since they added it already on there. But that was
you already seen it 3 times?
Yeah, that was a movie that I saw in theaters. Again, if you know me, I'm a big horror fan, and I thought this was like a good return to the horror roots of what Alien was. It's a perfect blend, I think, of it's a majority of one where it's like that horror of being stalked and this and that with a little bit of action like 2 is. And I think it does. I hate 2, and maybe you could speak to this too, because I remember mentioning it to you, that when some people were reviewing this, like, oh, it just takes, it's a slow burn. It takes forever to get into what's happening and this and that. And I'm like, I don't think that that's a problem at all, because what they show off at the beginning is world building, and you see how like these big corporations are keeping these people down and like screwing them over and stuff. Quick. And I thought it was so good. And I'm not gonna spoiler the use of AI with a person that is reused in this one, but people were bitching about that too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It makes perfect sense for why they're able to do that for what he is. Yeah. So I don't get some of the complaints about it. If maybe that kept you off from seeing it, go watch it. Definitely, like I said, it is on Hulu. It is so good.
Yeah, I thought one of the coolest things it showed off too was just how fast an alien can kick in. Like when that happens and they start coming, it's like, man, they made the aliens really badass. And the ending, for me, was hands down the best part of that movie.
Dude, it's so good, and it's just crazy. And it's got a lot of, like, even though there's the few handful of people, whatever, a lot of the deaths are really cool, too.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. As far as what mine was, I wrote it down because Geno was his. I know he was gonna put Wedpool, Wolverine, and Deadpool.
Oh, I forgot that came out.
Yeah, that movie was fantastic, but
so good.
That would easily be number one. But a movie that I wanted to point out that was, I thought, my favorite movie that was completely underrated was this movie called Ricky Stenicki. And here's the premise: 20 years after creating the imaginary Ricky Stenicki, 3 childhood friends still use this non-existent pal as a handy alibi for their immature behavior. And it goes on. So what they did is they make up this character, and they've been using it to get out of trouble all the time. They blame it on Ricky Stenicki. So what happens is they finally need to show him off. Like something comes up, they're like, oh, well, where is he? And it's this movie with Zac Efron. He's the main dude, but John Cena plays. They find this dude in Vegas who does like these dances and strips to these funny ass songs, and they pay him to be Ricky Stenicki. And dude, I have not laughed that hard in a movie in a long time. It's so weird because it got bad reviews and people were hating on it, and I don't know why. Like when I watched it, me and Sam watched it, dude, I was dying laughing. And I think I posted it on our Instagram, and I'm like, I don't get why anybody doesn't like this movie. And again, it's a certain type of humor, like any raunchy comedy would be, but everyone that wrote back to me, or at least friends of mine, were like, yeah, that movie was hilarious. So I'd love for you to see it. I think it was on Amazon when I watched it. It didn't. I don't believe it went to Actually, no, it did go to theaters. I believe. Yeah, it made 49.7. Falls under the mid-budget category, estimated to be around 49.7 million. It's hilarious, man. I mean, I don't want to recommend something that you guys are going to watch and be like, oh, that movie sucked. But I think, knowing your type of humor, I think you'll love it. I think Geno watched it. He said he loved it. I could not stop laughing, man. Like, if you can see on the cover where he's dressed up as Britney Spears, dude, you will die.
I've seen that picture. I didn't know what it was from.
Yeah, he does these dances, and he always dresses up as these characters. So it was a lot of fun. And I think, again, but Deadpool Wolverine was the best movie of the year. But as far as an underrated, non-talked about movie, for me, hands down, Ricky Stenicki as a comedy.
I can't believe I forgot about Deadpool and Wolverine. I would put that up.
Doesn't it feel like it was last year?
Yeah, it does. Maybe time's just flying by. And again, this is like, I think this came out maybe in October or just before it. I can't remember when this one came out. But either way, I think maybe because I knew that was going to be such a good movie, and I didn't know how this one was going to be because I didn't really care for, like, the last one was alright, and then the one before that, Prometheus, I didn't care about.
Yeah, so those were our favorite movies. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime if you guys want to watch it. So, as far as question number 2, it was, what was your favorite show of 2024?
Mine, for me, hands down, was Fallout. It was so good. It was
surprisingly good.
It was the perfect video game adaptation, and it's crazy to think that we kind of got like 2 of them back to, I wouldn't say back to back, but like The Last of Us seemed like that first like juggernaut to really hit, and then this thing kind of to follow up. I think it even wasn't it up for like Oscar or something like that too?
No, they'd be up for Emmys.
Or Emmys, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
So either way, like that's how good it was. If you're a Fallout fan, excuse me, this show completely captures the essence of what Fallout is. Like, it's got that weird comedy, that old-timey vibe. It's violent, it's brutal, it's very dark, but then it's got a lot, like, you know, people are still like, okie dokie then, and it's just so out there. It perfectly encapsulates what the game is. Especially after watching this, I'm like, man, I cannot wait to play like another Fallout game. I can't wait for more of this show. And
she's great as it. I forget her name, but the main chick I thought was brilliant.
Isn't it like something Parnell?
You know what? Sounds about right.
Her, and then I always say his name, Walton Goggins. It was amazing as the ghoul.
The ghoul. What was cool too is I know the Game Awards had a category and it won for best video game adaptation, but because I think a lot of people thought Arcane was going to win it hands down.
Yeah.
And then when Fallout won, a lot of people were impressed. Ella Purnell.
Oh, I thought it was Elia, but yeah, I was like, oh, that's something Purnell.
Yeah. So as far as my show, and again, I thought Geno was here, so I know his answer was going to be Penguin. Because I think hands down Penguin.
I slept on it.
Oh, did you not even get to the first episode?
I hadn't watched it because everyone was saying how bad it was. All the reviews were saying how bad it was.
Oh, dude, you listen to your boy. You listen to your boy Craigie Hoyts. Fantastic show, but my notes were written for a different show that I wanted to shine on, and that was the show Twilight of the Gods, which is Sigrid, an iron-willed warrior, saves Leif, a mortal king, who falls in love with her. They both survive Thor's wrath of terror, which embarks them and a crew of crusaders on a merciless mission for vengeance against all odds. And that released on September 19th, 2024. It's all on Netflix. It kind of reminds me of like a little Dungeons and Dragons. Like when they start getting their group together, they've got the dwarf who's built these magic weapons. They've got the fighter. They've got the king. They got the fallen bride. Dude, if you thought Thor was a badass in God of War Ragnarok, this is the old school Thor that you've been wanting to see. It's a hard rated R. He's bashing people's heads open. He's using his electricity to make people explode. He hates all giants, dude. He goes in and just wrecks people. The combat is fantastic. This is what showed that Zack Snyder was pretty hands-on. I believe he's a program creator. I think he's one of the actual creators of it. And I was kind of weary on that because Zack Snyder, for the last couple things, haven't been as good. What was the show that just came out? There was like 2 parts. It was on Netflix. It'll hit me later, but I know those bombed. And then I was talking with Denny about it. I'm like, I'm kind of nervous about this show because how good can it be? And if you're watching the YouTube version, you see the trailer. It doesn't do it justice. It is fantastic. And if you do anything for me, watch Twilight of the Gods. I keep telling everybody, I'm like, dude, watch Twilight of the Gods. And
so it's on Netflix?
Yeah, and nobody but Denny, I think, has seen it. Maybe Dante's seen it, I forget. But you need to definitely watch Penguin. Penguin is a must. But if you're looking for some good, hardcore animated action, Twilight of the Gods, man. It's hard Norse mythology, and it's good stuff.
I might not like it because I don't care for Norse mythology.
Why?
It's just so uninteresting compared to like Greek and like Roman, Egyptian. Like all that stuff, Egyptian, all that stuff like combined. I think the only Norse thing I've ever really gotten into was a show like Vikings, and like that's it.
Nice. Oh, then watch the first episode because I believe the first episode. Because I'm trying to remember when a certain thing happens that gets the show going. And I think it is at the end of number 1, and you get to see Thor. Dude, when you see Thor arrive and what happens, you're going to be like, okay, and you're going to binge watch it.
All right, I'll check it out.
Alrighty, guys. So that was one of the best shows that we saw. The third question that I wanted to bring up for 2024 was, what was the biggest disappointment you had? And that could be games, pop culture, anything. What was the biggest disappointment that you had?
See, when you asked me that, I thought you just meant a game. I can't think of like really too many other disappointments, so like a game one just instantly went out to my mind. And that'd be Hellblade 2. Like, I wasn't excited for it anyways. I was like, this game's probably just going to be mid, like the first one, because it's not really like what I thought it was going to be. The trailers were just all the same stuff over and over. I'm like, alright, well, at least I kind of know what I'm getting into. And then as I played it, I'm like, man, dude, I just really don't like this game.
I think it was misleading. I thought it looked like it was going to be more of an action-adventure game. Like, when you see all the stuff with the giants, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just more of the same, and then just dragging on, and I barely even remember it, and I barely even remember that it came out like this year. I was like, dude, this is just not it for me. Like, the only award they're gonna win
for me
is like when they win like best voice acting. Like the game
I
is beautiful.
think she won again for her her involvement with the show.
The game's beautiful, but it's just a walking simulator. And I know people are going to hate on me for that, but I don't care. Like, it just wasn't... It's not something I would ever go back and play. It's not something I'd recommend to anybody. And I argue with people about it, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know what you're putting this game on a pedestal for, because it's just not that great. Like, I just don't care for it, and I don't understand what anyone's like, oh, well, it tells an amazing story. And I'm like, about what?
Did you want to bring up your other one at all, if we have time, or do you want to skip it?
Which one?
Your Dragon's Dogma 2. Do you want to bring up that hint?
Dragon's Dogma 2 wasn't, compared to that, wasn't the biggest disappointment, but it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Because you beat number 1. You beat number 1, right?
No, I didn't beat 1. I just jumped straight into 2, but it was emptier. The world was good, and then the combat was good once I kind of figured it out, and I really got that one class that I liked, but the world just felt emptier than what I thought it was going to be, was really why I was disappointed with it. It is a beautiful game. At the time when it came out, I'm sure it's been patched since then. The frame rate was kind of like a little buggy and it wasn't consistent. But again, my biggest thing is like, why are you going to build this big world and there's only like a few towns, and then for me to get A to B, it's going to take me like an hour to walk there, or I can warp to these stones, but
in the middle of nowhere.
But you can warp to in certain areas, and it's only certain ones. So, or you could drop a stone and then be able to return to it, but you have a finite amount of the things that you can warp around too. So it's like, I just don't understand for how big it is and what a slog it is. And there's so many times too where I'm like doing a mission and I'm getting all this stuff, and now I got to make this long ass trek back that I'm getting in. When I was at a lower level, I just felt like the earlier levels too were like pretty like grinding. So I'm supposed to get to this place, and then the fastest way to do it is by cart, so that way you don't have to run. And normally the cart will just go like A to B, and like it'll fade out and then fade in when you're there. But if you get attacked in the middle of the night, which happens almost all the time, I get attacked by a giant fucking ogre. Now I gotta fight this thing off, and I barely make it. My companions are dead, but I was able to beat the ogre, but I have no healing, so I'm almost to the city. And then as I get close to the city, I get attacked by like a giant wolf or something like that too on top of it. And then let's say I manage to outrun him, there's other enemy, like there was one where like that did happen. I fight this big dude, and then there's another monster like on the way there. I don't remember what it was. It was like a big bull or something, and that I just had to outrun him. And as I made it almost to like the city gates where I needed to be, I got hit with an arrow from just like a little troll dude that was like right there. And I'm just like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Now I gotta make this run again. And as I'm doing the run again, I get invaded again during the middle of the night by a different monster. But this time I was like able to make it there because I didn't get invaded by the second giant bull or whatever the hell was out there.
What made you finish?
Or it was like a minotaur. I just kept putting in the time, and then once I got OP, I started kicking everything's ass, and the game was much better. It's just that early grind, it was just so grinding. I'm like, dude, this just...
I can't wait to play.
I'm just not getting it, maybe.
I'm just not getting it, bro. That sounds disappointing. My biggest disappointment of 2024 was all the hype and then the final outcome.
I don't know how you could have been hyped for this.
The Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Well, I'm hyped to see Mike Tyson because what I think again it was this thing. You're like, two things are gonna happen. One, if you're not under the assumption that it's already fixed, is you're gonna watch Mike Tyson get knocked the fuck out, or you're gonna watch Tyson knock the fuck out of this kid who I don't really care for. I think he's kind of a douchebag. Then you see all the training fights that you're seeing with Tyson, and you're like, oh, dude, he's looking pretty good for being, 60? And then you finally... And we had a big group of people. It was a lot of fun. There's nothing wrong with the spectacle, and I like that Jake Paul can put these fights together and get someone like Tyson $20 million and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's cool that he's able to make these guys money that maybe they wouldn't have gotten on their own in a certain fight. But then you keep hearing about all the exhibition rules that they gotta have and all the and then you watch Tyson fight, and it's just like, dude, where's the guy that's in the gym just smashing through people, moving quick as a cat? And then you watch these things where a lot of people point out, they're like, dude, why are you not hitting him right here? Why are you not smashing this kid right here? And again, I don't know if they've even showed what the rule set was, because I know none of them wants to have egg on their face and get embarrassed. So it probably is something. I think you could
knock somebody out there. I don't think that was a rule.
Well, then if it's not, then it's like, why? So because what you didn't want to believe is that it's just another fixed Jake Paul fight, and and nothing's gonna happen. No one's gonna get knocked out. It's gonna go the distance for some weird reason. He's gonna win, and it's like, I know in the back of my head, everyone was probably just like, dude, that's probably what's going to happen. But it's like you're hoping. You want to see one of the outcome or the other. I want to see this fight, and it's just not what we got. I mean, it was way overhyped.
It was even worse, the fact that Netflix servers were like shit and like kept crashing because so many people were watching it.
Yeah, it's right, because it was streaming on
lagging.
Netflix.
Yeah, mine was like lagging so much that my dad wanted to watch it and he came down. So I kept having to back out and then go back into Netflix. Like, not back out completely, but I would have to like back out of the title and then go back into the title. And it would pick back up where it was, but otherwise it would just get stuck.
I don't remember having any issues.
It wasn't my internet. Mine was doing it, and I looked online, and tons of people were having problems.
Okay, yeah, because we watched them over at Geno's house, and we had 2 TVs going, one outside and one inside, because we just had a bunch of people. We were having a nice little party, and there's fun comments being said and conversations about it. And there was this guy, I won't say who it was.
I was about to say, you got to see those ass cheeks.
Yeah, those subliminal message between the line kind of crack jokes. Where there's this dude and he bet hard. I want to say over $1,000 or something like that. Geno can correct me in the comments. Betting that Tyson was gonna win and didn't happen. So I don't know. It's cool to see Tyson get paid, but it's just like, man, that fight is not what I thought it was gonna be after watching all like the training videos. And what's gonna suck now, because now I don't even want to go watch another fight party with him, because like he'll do another one, and of course the record keeps going. And again, it's this guy that's 20 fighting like 6-year-old dudes.
I think the next one's supposed to be against like McGregor or something like that.
Oh, really?
Just said, yeah.
So I don't know. That was probably the most disappointing thing.
It was bad all around, because even the analysts were annoying. Like, that one dude would not... Why is he biting his gloves like that? It's like, bro, the guy told you he's done it in his old fights. And then, well, why'd you bite your gloves? It's like, it's just something I've done for a long time. It's like, dude, like, I don't get why you're so fixated.
There's somebody that was
just
saying
had to say it 20 times.
That it's a technique to remind you to keep your hand up to what's blocking, like, your... I was reading something like, it's something to make sure you keep your hand up to block your chin. And it's just a way to like constantly remind. I don't know how real that is. I'm not a boxer, but that was something I read. I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense, I guess. But anyway, I want to know you guys' biggest disappointments. Hopefully, they're on a scale that's just a bad game and a bad show. I mean, hopefully, it's something too dramatic. So, as far as our next question, guys, go, I want to ask Andrew, something started in 2024 that maybe not finish in 2025, but at least still keep going with it, get the ball rolling, and if you didn't finish it in 2024, something you're going to keep doing in 2025.
For me, mostly it's been my like tattoo obsession. Like, realistically, I'm almost to where I want to be, to where I don't have to rush anymore, and then I can kind of slow it down. Yeah, so as most of you guys have seen, like, I'm pretty like covered on them, but all I have left really to do is just my left side. And then maybe a little bit of filler stuff here and there. And then I do want to... Because my chest was like the first thing I ever got done. And tattoo ink and styles and stuff. It's so different now that I want to redo like a lot of it. At least like re-outline it a better black. And then maybe change up a couple colors or like designs that at the time were better. But over time maybe just didn't make as much sense.
That blue eye's looking clean.
Yeah, my newest one. It is one of my favorites. But that's my big thing that after that... Hopefully I could just relax a little bit more, because I would say like the past, I don't know, for like the past like 7 years, I've just been going consistently, just trying to hammer everything up. Like, it's crazy too, so I'll go back and watch some of these videos, and you'll see me with like barely nothing. I don't even remember what we had when we started,
nothing.
But then out of nowhere, like, it'll just be banger, boom, 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 and then you'll skip from like one video to one video to one video, and then like it'll be like nothing to like a full sleeve to like half a sleeve.
What's crazy for me is I'll watch old video and your hands weren't even touched, and now they're so fucking inked up. Like, I watch some of the old ones, I'm like, man, Andrew, yeah, you did have a lot of innocent, precious skin.
So it's just crazy to go back, and I kind of almost like watching it too as like a time capsule.
Yeah.
Then I'm like,
which is half the reason we do this show.
Yeah, because it's, I remember how I got everything, but I'm like, what was I doing at this point in my life? And now it just helps me to pinpoint it a little bit more.
Nice. As far as something that I started in 24 and didn't finish is, obviously we can talk about backlogs. I did just want to point out there was 2 main games that I started and didn't finish, and I don't know why. I'll put them down and I'll just not pick them back up. It was Alan Wake 2 and Resident Evil 4 remake. I want to finish those.
To do that.
And I've got to give a shout out to Sam though, because we were playing, and she on the PS5. I think all the Resident Evils are pretty much free to download and play on the PS Plus. And I watched her beat the original PlayStation 1, Resident Evil 4. And it was awesome to watch her do, man. It was really cool, and it made me get that hunger again to be like, oh, then I want to go back, or not
BS1.
Not RE2 or Resident Evil 4. Because what did that originally come out on? PS2 and GameCube? Yeah,
GameCube first. They said it wouldn't come to anything. Then it came to PS2. Is it the OG one, or is it those ones that they ported? Because I know they did like a up-res.
I think it's the original one. We can double check, but I was just watching her play, but she wasn't playing
either
the remake.
way. Yeah,
and I told her, I'm like, hey, afterwards, like, play the remake. And because she was talking, she's like, yeah, she's like, I remember where to get the rocket launchers. I remember where to get all this. So that was really cool to watch. So those would be the 2 games. As far as things that I wanted to finish is I've been reading and for a while the Batman Nightfall books, comics. I get them in the graphic novels. I think there's 3 of them. And what I would normally do is I would try to read 1 or 2 a night, but since moving and all that stuff, I put it down and I haven't picked it back up. So I do want to start reading more comics, and I want to finish the Nightfall stuff with Azrael Batman, and because it starts off with Bane and all that stuff. Because I finished the first one, which is the biggest, but I have the second one sitting on my nightstand, and I do want to finish more of that. So it's a really good story, man. I mean, if you ever want to borrow it, because Bane's my favorite villain for DC, because I don't count Lobo as a villain. I think he's like the anti kind of hero.
Yeah,
but Bane's my favorite guy, so it was really nice going back and reading the origin story. And Jean St. Paul, I think is Azrael's name, the guy that replaces Batman as Batman. It was really good going back and reading all those books and remembering like, oh yeah, he doesn't really like Robin. Batman's back's fucking still broken and all this. So I just want to finish that series, and it's been great the whole time I've been reading it. So that is the thing I want to finish come 2025 and start more. You know what I mean? I kind of want to do like a new graphic novel a month or something like that, just to keep me reading and things like that. There's other book series I want to read, but I want to be reading more comics.
You should read the Resident Evil books. They're really good.
Bring them over.
I will. I need to read. I bought this one because if you look in the credits, we're in there. I did what is that thing called where like you support Kickstarter. I couldn't remember. Kickstarter.
This like Kickstarter, GoFundMe, things like that.
They did a Kickstarter for a Resident Evil, pretty much like biography. Like he went through and did all these interviews and has all this information. So it's like the history of Resident Evil. And I think it's only like 1 through 3. I think it might touch a little bit of 4. And so he was talking about wanting to do like a second part of it. And it's a nice hard book cover that I need to buy another.
Last Call as it?
I think it says Last Call Gaming in our credits because I pledged enough money to get like a copy of it. And I remember I did it like 2 years ago and I forgot about it until they emailed me like, oh, hey, your book is like almost on. I'm like, oh, it's super dope. I completely forgot about it. And it's just been sitting on my thing and I don't know why, I just haven't read it. But that's something I do want to do. Yeah,
it's one of those things that, like, because I have a couple books laying around that have, like, bookmarks in them, and I'm like, dude, you gotta just finish them. But then it's like, I'm always behind on games, and it's like, I'm not behind on my shows. So it's like, you just gotta make the time to do it. So, with that, guys, let's leave down below what is something maybe you didn't finish in 2024 that you'd like to continue in 2025. And with our final question, overall, did you have a good 2024? I mean, a lot of things happened this year, and I think overall, man, I've obviously moved into a new house. You've had a big development happen. I don't know if you want to re-say it at all, but I think 2024 was a lot of fun. We're still kind of debating what we're going to do for New Year's. I don't think you said you were going to do anything. You got the dog and everything, but I know we have a couple friends in town that we want to go do some drinks and stuff, because usually I don't go out and do things for New Year's anymore. But I don't know, I might go out and just have one last hoorah before 2025 kicks in. So overall, man, good year. Is there anything you wish would have changed or anything different?
No, I feel like it's been like a really good year for me. I haven't had problems. Got to play lots of games, traveled a lot. I went to When We Were Young and Tilla and Born of Stars. I went to like a bunch of different shows this year. I really got to do a lot, and then to end it all off, find out that I'm going to be having a kid, which is something like we've really been wanting for a while. That it's just been such like a truly blessed year. So I am extremely just grateful to be where I'm at.
Yeah. Any big trips you want to try to do next year? I know Geno's got a cruise that he's doing. I think he's doing like in March or something like that. I forget. I know you don't like to fly, but where do you land on being on open water?
I don't know. I get motion sickness, so I don't know that.
You won't notice it on a big cruise ship. You won't get sick. I mean, unless you're staring out and you're watching it rock. When you're in your like room and you're eating dinner and stuff like that, you don't feel that.
I just don't want to be on a cruise with like 1 million people. So I don't know. It's just like a weird thing for me. It sounds like it'd be nice, but I also now that I have the kid on the way, I'm like, okay, I don't want to spend the money on that. Like,
Yeah,
I'd rather just
because you gotta get the drink package. You know what I mean? You gotta get the unlimited, and that's not.
Especially too, she can't drink, and like, what am I gonna bring a pregnant chick like on a cruise all the time? Like, no. So that I'm out on that. I do have a show we already bought tickets for that's at the end of March. You wouldn't know, but for anybody interested. We're going to LA. Actually, you might know one of them. We're going to go see Chiodo's Hawthorne Heights and Muir. So I'm extremely hyped for that. So if you happen to be out there in the LA area and you're going to that,
just you two, and the Tay?
No, me, Dante, and then
Tay.
My cousin AJ's going, and then our other friend Janet's going.
Nice. I know we definitely want to go do an Eagles game or a Packers game next year. I think that'd be fun to go do. I would like to do some more sporting events, and if we can find a good... I know you're really... I love that you're diving into more watching your kind of shows.
Did I tell you I just went and saw the Knights?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Without me?
Yeah, I went to the Las Vegas Knights last month. Yeah, like right at the start of last month. Okay. Maybe it's when we took that like little bit of a break because we had so much going on and everything like that. That is... Yeah, I think that's a bit after I found out I was having a kid, too. So, yeah, we went and saw the Las Vegas Knights, and it was great.
Nice. So, guys, that was kind of a wrap-up of our year, what we've been doing, what we've gone through. Leave down in the comments below what you guys have been up to, what you've been doing.
Something I'd like to do next year is...
hey, we got time.
Finish my book. I got 2 pages left.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I have so many different notes. This one should last me through the end of...
well, I've also forgotten mine like a million times.
Yeah, I've found some. There's some books here that I found like some of your old shit in it. And I was just like, that's kind of funny. So, with that being done and said, guys, make sure you join us next year in 2025 for our next episode. Until next year, guys, be safe, be smart, don't get in any crazy nonsense. My name is Craig Perales. This is Mandrew Montemayor, and until next year, cheers.
See you next year.